All right, good morning, guys. We get right into it. Hope you're doing well. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. This always, as we've alluded to before, always seems to be a date where something kind of wacky happens in the weather, right? Must be the romance in the air. But we'll be talking about the storm side of things. Hope you guys have had a good weekend. Been out for a few days. I'm back to deliver more bad news. I always seem like I'm delivering bad news on here. I promise. I have good days too. But we do have two systems that we are going to be tracking over the next few days. Obviously, there's some concern for wind damage to take place and severe weather on top of that. But even in the short term, with wind ramping up today, there will be a chance to get some wind damage out of just general wind that we're talking about rolling through the area. So there's a lot to cover. I see your questions, see your Valentines as well. We'll get to some of those coming up in just a few minutes. As always, you can comment on any of our social media platforms. So whether it's going to be YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, you can comment there. If you're watching on the app or on Roku or on Fire Stick, you're not able to. And I apologize. Hopefully one day we'll get that squared away where you can do that. But at the moment you can't. You have to go to the social media pages. Let me get rid of the spammer real quick. Even the spammers, it's Valentine's Day, so we love you too. But anyway, let's get right into what I think is going to be one of our bigger headlines, and that is going to be the wind taking place today. At the moment, it's relatively cloudy. It's not bad. We had a chilly morning outside. We're going to gain some numbers, though, on temperature here very soon. We'll warm things up, and we'll get into a much warmer setup this afternoon, evening, but it will come at the cost of wind and rain moving into the area. In fact, already starting to see some of the rain breaking out back to the west. More on that in just a second with the radar view. There's that wind advisory officially kicks in tonight at 7. This will get us to the overnight hours. It's another long overnight period of strong wind. And we do not have as much of the heating of the day getting involved for any mixing, if you will, which would enhance the wind. So the fact that these are going to be as strong as they look to be tonight, it's a good thing that's coming through at night. Otherwise, they would be even stronger. It would be under a high wind watch or warning, more than likely. I don't see the gusts to the level we had the other day, just to be clear, like that 71 in Franklin County. We don't see anything like that. But I do think gusts up to around 50 are certainly on the table for tonight. It will be a warm front moving into the area. It's going to really set the stage for a warm Wednesday that'll be coming our way. Current gusts, again, these are baby gusts. This is nothing major. It's going to be later on. That's why the advisory doesn't kick in until 7 o'clock tonight. So we got several more hours here before it happens. Looks like the game plan is to really spike it just at the point of sunset, maybe just after. But if you have those wind chimes outside your window, there is no doubt you're going to hear those be quite loud for the overnight period. All right, temperatures. This is going to be the reason why the wind is going to be strong. Something's going to give here. We're going to see a nice jump in our temperature in the next 12 hours alone. 42 right now in Louisville. We'll add about 20 to that as we head into this afternoon, maybe a bit warmer. We got the cloud cover in place. That's all right. That's going to keep relatively quiet set up here for the next several hours. But the rain's breaking out. Now, this is not necessarily reaching the ground at the moment. There is quite a bit of dry air here. So this system, while it looks to be a monster system, and it's going to give us headaches like crazy tonight and severe weather, it actually will not. This system is actually shearing out as it moves by. So there is a lower end severe risk on this, if anything at all, and that's mainly going to be up there across, as I'll show you in a second, to Missouri. This is going to be more of a wall of random wind and rain, and there are some models that really disintegrate the rain rapidly as it gets in our area to where it's a very small line that moves through, and some do not do that, as you'll see in a second, but there's at least going to be some rain approaching on the radar for the evening. So as you plan your evening out with your sweetheart, or perhaps you're going out with your friends for Singles Awareness Day. There you go. Still have some fun. Just be careful and prepare for quite a bit of rain. Probably not the best of years for dates to be out. A date inside, probably. Date outside, out to the restaurant is probably going to be a little more of a challenge. So the romance is going to really have to step it up there to be generous and be courteous, get the door, help the umbrella, that kind of stuff. Open the car door. All that stuff's really going to really play out tonight. So if you're looking for an excuse to do it, there you go. Okay, severe risk later on for today into the nighttime hours. This is going to get us really into more Wednesday because this system is going to move to the north and east. There is another dropping in the Rockies. It's reinforcing the current low that's into the areas of the plains. It will help enhance a warm front in this area, and it's going to be that warm front that surges. You can see the path of the warm front starts in Texas and moves all the way into Kentucky as we head into the nighttime hours for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So really, it's tomorrow night. You'll start to hear more about severe weather on the national news and the Weather Channel, whatever you watch it on, or even here on our Weather Channel itself that we stream. You'll start seeing the alert show up into the southern plains. That will be Wednesday night, tomorrow night. And that's the front we got to watch, is the warm front. It's a two-part ordeal, which is very classic for us in severe weather. We deal with a warm front and we deal with a cold front. And the warm front's first. We get into what we call that warm sector, and then the cold front moves in. Now, the past two events have been relatively short-lived for us to be in the warm sector. So there is a window here that they both get close together, and sometimes they can mess one or the other up as far as severe weather goes, and that's good. In this case, we may face that. But if they have a little more of a gap between one another, then you have time for the atmosphere to recover, and then you get a problem. And that's what we're going to look at a little more in just a second. Here's our severe risk. This is going to cover your Thursday. And again, it's a twofold ordeal. It looks kind of odd how it's drawn, but it makes sense because it is going to be a setup where you're going to have a warm front lifting north through the Ohio Valley through the day, and then you get the cold front to the west that also will be sweeping southeast. So they kind of drew it to account for both ideas that will be moving through. All right, let's get into Futurecast. Here's our in-house model showing, again, the rain that moves in tonight is not severe. Tonight is going to be just batches of showers, but like we've had in the past few incidents, even heavy showers can produce strong winds. Be mindful of that. So if you get a band of rain coming your way, you're looking at the wave radar and you're seeing yellow in it and it's approaching you and it's already windy outside, chances are it's going to get windier when that batch of rain moves on by. So just be able to time that out. Look to your south and west because that's the direction it will be approaching from. But again, that's going to allow the numbers to stay relatively mild tonight. We don't really see a huge drop at all once we warm up today. So that means that it's a stage for us to get into the 70s tomorrow. Now, the record's 74. We could certainly go higher than that. It depends on the warm flow and the amount of sun that's going to get through the thin cloud deck that will be around. That's always key. And every time we talk about record high potential, modeling does a horrible job in this scenario. We always have to, as meteorologists, account for what we normally face in this scenario and make our own adjustment. That's basically what we've done here is we're going with record-breaking warmth just because it is a classic setup for that. And we think the modeling right now is a little too cold on that, or cool. We shall see. But as far as Wednesday, overall daytime, it doesn't look bad. I think it's just going to be warm, Breezy outside for sure, especially early on in the day, but nothing dramatic in terms of active weather expected for Wednesday. So Wednesday's a day we can actually, other than the wind, I think we can get out and enjoy some of the warm weather that surges in the area. So Wednesday may be a little bit of sort of a bonus day, but Wednesday night, here comes the warm fronts. And here's what's interesting about this in-house model, which, by the way, it did really well with in the last severe risk that we had. It brings the warm front of the area, brings it to the north. And what it tries to do is take this band of thunderstorms that become more horizontal, also this band here across Kentucky. The flow itself gets very much hung up in a southwest motion as the front is moving through. Thunderstorms get going here across the southern portion of it, just south of where the warm front passes. And then we start to run into a training scenario. Let me see if I can expand this out so you can see it. Hold on one second. I may have to do this manually. And I do think that's interesting to see that, because I do think that could lead. Okay, I'm not sure I'm able to. I apologize. Yeah, it's not letting me. But after this warm front moves on by, there is a training effect that starts to happen with some of these thunderstorms rolling through the area. And if that's the case, there could be more of a flash flooding area of concern across southern Kentucky into Tennessee. Something we'll be watching, but it would tame down the severe risk for many of us. But warm fronts are very sneaky around here. You get a decent amount of rotation that can certainly accompany a warm front. Now, it's coming through early in the day. That's good. Most of the action should be relatively elevated, what we call it, where the bases are a little higher. But just south of where the warm front is, that will not be the case. So there is indeed a tornado threat for Wednesday morning. I can't rule it out. I think damaging winds and hail are going to be probably the bigger ones. And again, flash flooding could really set up shop somewhere across central and southern Kentucky. Don't know the exact spot yet. But this is an interesting scenario that needs to have more time in the oven, if you will, to iron out. But it is a complex setup for Wednesday morning. And again, that's phase one of how the day is going to go. And it's a crucial one, because really how it plays out will determine what happens for us as we head into later on Thursday afternoon. Let me show you another model. This is the HER model showing the rain this afternoon. Moves on by. There's our little break tomorrow where we have a chance to enjoy some 70s and mild air. It's showing 60s. Again, we're going to go higher than the modeling on this one. Moves on by. Here comes the warm front. This is bad timing again for rush hour on Thursday. Now, right along and ahead of the front, most of this is going to be heavy rain and maybe some pea-sized hail with this. Your severe risk is quite low as it lifts north. It's on the other side of the front, and that's where it's not by design. It's how the front dynamics and certainly the thermal dynamics of how this plays out. You get more of the red showing up on the actual other side of the front. So those are the ones you've got to watch on the southern side here. I'll get rid of my drawing and my scribbles. Sorry. But you can see how that starts to happen at around 4 or 5 in the morning. Warm front moves in. We start to develop heavy rain. Some of those cells want to try to rotate on the southern side. Those are the ones we're going to have to watch as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, or mid-morning really, that could push into central Kentucky. But again, if they end up getting stuck in southern Kentucky and this ends up training, then it's not a severe risk as more as it is flash flooding. What you don't see here, and I thought I had it loaded, and I apologize, is right after this window is the cold front portion, right? And through here, this will try to move in roughly about 4 p.m. Thursday. Don't know yet how much it's got to work with, because we don't know how the morning's going to go. The morning's key. If the morning can calm down, and there are some, including the Euro, that try to develop some sun breaks in the afternoon around 2 o'clock. Then as the cold front moves in, it doesn't need much. It could be another show as we head into Thursday afternoon. Right now, I think the potential is going to be a little higher across areas that get out of the rain altogether, which will be areas south of 64 and perhaps even south of parkways. So the severe risk is very messy here on Thursday. It is really messy. We've got so much to watch in the morning, so much to solve there. I can tell you right now, the morning commute is going to be a mess on Wednesday just because of the heavy rain in the area, the severe risk, and the talk about it, I'm sure is going to be the headline. We'll be watching that carefully. And then as we get into the afternoon, another risk comes into play. We'll watch it as it moves on by and then see what happens there. The HER does show rotation signatures that try to show up. This does not always mean tornado, just FYI. But this is pretty natural to see this along a warm front. You're going to get some rotation at 3 in the morning, and we see more hints of it through 8 a.m. So that's the reason why, again, some of these can just rotate. They may not even be able to produce anything that can reach the ground because the bases will be high initially. But that is going to be a factor we're going to watch carefully as we head throughout the entire day. Here's what the SIPs, the analogs for this event. What do they show in previous situations that we've been in this setup with the warm front, cold front? How does the potential on odds play out on the idea of severe weather? And it hits on the idea that it's southern Kentucky and down the deep south. I like where this is placed. I get why they drew it all the way, this current outlook, they drew it all the way into the Midwest and the upper Ohio Valley, just because the warm front's going to go so far north, there will be at least a hail threat. So I totally understand that. But it's certainly going to be central and southern Kentucky and south that there could be some rotating thunderstorms that we'll have to watch carefully. All right, that's it on the severe weather side. What questions can I answer on that? Hopefully, I answered most of those in there. Happy Valentine's Day, April. Good morning, Derek. Amanda, do you mean Thursday morning? I think I did. Did I say Wednesday morning? Sorry. Today is like, because I'm back on a Tuesday, so this is like Monday for me, so I'm trying to adjust. I apologize. It is Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon. Those are the two periods that we're watching. As far as strong wind with our first system that is not directly connected to this one, that strong wind kicks in tonight or into Wednesday. I'll get it right. Wednesday into overnight hours. So later on tonight, Wednesday morning. That'll be tonight. So I was right on that. I just need to go back to bed. I apologize. Happy Sweethearts Day, everybody. Try to distract everybody as much as I can. Camera. So this is not a major tornado threat. It is not a major tornado threat, but it is one that's at the same time can produce one or two, and it only takes one, right? Only takes one. So we want to make sure this is a very aware situation. Ashley, is this a December 2021 situation? No, it is not. You got to keep in mind the wind fields were way off the charts. This one's not off the charts. I mean, it's decent, but it's nothing like that level event. And we had all the right ingredients for the moisture to really enhance the atmosphere for that afternoon. We thought it would be a cap. The cap broke. When that happened, the severe cells and supercells just went crazy and fed. This environment is very much a messy or a dirty one. In other words, we mean the warm sector is going to have a lot going on. So it's not, perfectly warm front thunderstorms. You get into the warm sector and the sun comes out and you're 75 and 80 degrees and you're just waiting for the cold front that could be another 6 hours away from rolling in. Those are environments you've really got to watch. They really feed the severe threat. And that's how December was then. We got into the warm sector early and then we were just waiting. And those cells just came right into that environment, didn't have any competition. And that's when things get ugly. This is going to be a muddy one where it's going to be much more active in the warm sector. It can lead to flash flooding for sure. And that's something we'll have to watch. But some of those cells can rotate. So it's going to be a challenge because of the idea that they will likely be embedded in heavy rain scenarios. So we're going to have to rely on the radar a lot on these, even if it's a daytime event. You're welcome, Amanda. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Let's see. DJ, is there a possibility you just give us snow instead of severe weather? Yeah, I can. Well, I think I can. I'm not sure I have the exact power, but I can try. Speaking of that, there is not much to talk about on the snow side, obviously. Pattern's not ripe for that. It's a repeating pattern. It's going to be hard to get out of here. But there's two minor systems really Monday into Tuesday next week, and maybe next Wednesday, Thursday. So the rain chance is going to stay high. There's not much of a dry signal. Right beyond this point, though, which will get us to about February 25th, I believe, this one is a strong signal one right here. This one's likely going to be another big one, and it probably will be severe weather, the way it looks for the Ohio Valley. But that would be about February 25th is the one that is showing up there. The other two do not look as strong, but they will probably be another. Both those will probably be more wind makers. Yay. Aren't we excited about that? But Brady, you're right. March has always sometimes been our snowiest months around here, so there is hope. You're exactly right. March is always a wild card here, guys, and lately even April. So yes, I don't think winter is done. I do not think winter is done. I just think we're just gonna have to wait a bit. And when those snows show up, they're not going to show up in a 10-day forecast. I'm not going to be doing snow talking like, oh, in 10 days I see something. It's going to be a system that's going to show up probably within a 5-day window. So always pay attention to the blogs, even if I'm talking about severe weather. Still pay attention because there could be a sneaky one that can get involved. It's that kind of a pattern we're going to be in, and we're going to be in it for a while. So second half of the winter will be that way. All right, guys, I got to run. Get ready for the midday show. As always, you guys are awesome. I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. I, of course, will have the latest from the Storm Prediction Center, too, as we evolve the next couple of days. But I will see you in about 1 hour from now. Behave yourselves. Catch you shortly.